Well, we were wondering, like, these guys have asked me, like, oh, how do you know Adam? I'm like, I think we met at a convention.
We did.
We
yeah.
met at Nellie's convention.
Yeah, I met you and your wife there.
Okay.
And you were, I can't remember what you were tattooing, but I was pretty excited to meet you when I met you because I seen that Mario piece I told you.
Oh, yeah.
And your name was just called every single time they were doing award shows. And so I was just like,
who's this guy?
This guy knows what's up, and he's really good, and you were super nice. And
thanks.
Like, yeah, it's been a good connection. Even though we haven't been that close,
yep.
I just always know that you're there if I needed you, or if, you know, whatever the case may be. You know.
So I know, looking back, I'm trying to figure out how long ago that would have been, because we both
probably 2015 or 16.
Oh my gosh.
Well, because I went to the Black Bear ones in 2013 was my first show.
Okay.
It might have even been Black Bear, but I don't think it was.
I did the Black Bear show also probably like a few times before then they moved to Hinckley.
Yeah, that's all I did too, was just a few times. And you were booth right next to June.
Wow, I don't remember.
Do you remember
that
June
at all.
June?
Yeah, I remember June.
You were booth right next to him, and I was talking to him, I believe.
Wow.
And then we started talking.
Oh, well, cool. Yeah, and then I remember we were boothed right next to each other, and it was Sunday, and you're still a huge Vikings fan, but I'm like, dude, did you hear? Teddy Bridgewater broke his back. And you were like,
yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
You were crushed.
And then he did rip his leg in half.
Oh my goodness.
Not that year, no, but it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I'm still a huge Vikings fan.
Yeah.
I probably now more even because of the things that have happened. It's crazy.
Which I think is super cool that, you know, being a fan, now you're tattooing some of the team.
It's very surreal.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think of all people, you deserve that for sure.
I appreciate that.
You're not an asshole about it.
Yeah, no, I try not to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I get weird about it too when people bring it up because I'm like, You know? I don't know.
And so back in those early days, were you a tattooer or were you still apprenticing?
I was tattooing, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I worked out of my house for a year in 2007, and then I got an opportunity to start at a shop, and I just got licensed right away. So I never went through like an actual apprenticeship.
Yep.
Just like learned from everyone around me.
Yeah.
And people I looked up to. So yeah.
How was that transition going from like the house to a shop? Was it easy? Or were there some
It was
challenges?
very scary. I felt like I was left alone a lot, and like I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I don't know if I can talk about things that I've done that were not very good. But like, I was just telling the story the other day at home. I would tattoo someone, put a piece of tape around it, write their name on it, and put it in a pop can, their needle. So when they came back, they could use their needle again.
Dude, I used to do that too.
Okay.
I'm like, this has got to be the safest way of doing this, because my sterilizer was like a pressure cooker that I
had
bought
one
at
too from
Kohl's.
Fleet Farm. I got mine at Fleet Farm.
Had the little weight on the top.
Yeah, but that was after the fact. That was after a tattoo artist that I knew came in, and he's like, "Dude, you can't be doing it." I was like, "What do you mean?"
It seems to work.
Well, and you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sitting in there growing spores and just ready to. But nobody ever got anything, thank God. But
yeah.
It was not good.
Maybe they died and you just never knew.
Yeah, that's terrible though.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know better, and they didn't have any information really.
Exactly.
Tattooing was like it was just on the up and coming around that time.
Yes.
So
it was still very much, you walk into a shop trying to get information, you were not going to get it.
No. The guy I work for now, I walked in and I asked him if I could get a tattoo by him, and he even turned around and looked at me. Just drew the whole time.
Yeah.
And he knew I was just some punk kid that didn't have any money anyways.
Yeah.
So he's just like, whatever, dude. I bring it up all the time. Like, you were such
awesome.
a dick.
That's funny.
But I know him now, and I understand why he was like that.
Yeah.
That was about this.
Which I kind of wish, there was still some of that too.
Yeah.
Because, we've watered down the whiskey a lot. I complain about this on almost every podcast.
What you mean with like how, just like what's the word I'm looking for?
I guess the common word these days is gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Let's just protect the industry from every Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants to get in.
Oh yeah.
Let's
I know.
Let's maybe be
Yeah.
a little, because obviously that didn't scare you.
No.
So then you had enough grit to go back, or maybe even ask for that apprenticeship. So that was
because
most-
I was
most-
there just to talk about getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't deter me at all.
Mhm.
And sometimes like I like how he can just be like really just bold like that and just like not give a shit. But I'm also very protective of our name too. I want to make sure there's not people leaving him being like, well, fuck that place.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's like it can be there, but it's got to be monitored a little bit.
absolutely. Yeah.
And was this the first place that you worked at? Is that where you work at now? Or?
No.
Okay.
I worked at a smaller shop in town. So I actually, when I got my first tattoo, I was like, I want a tattoo for the rest of my life. Like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Ever, And I didn't even want to get a tattoo. I thought they were stupid. I told my friends in high school, like, you're an idiot if you want to get a tattoo and put something on you for the rest of your life. Like, I'll never do that.
That's crazy.
And then a friend of ours was tattooing, like a mutual friend, and every one of my friends were getting tats. So I was like, all right, I'll get one. And then when I was laying there, I was like, this is so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And I always like to draw. And so I just kind of, this is what I can do this.
Yeah.
And so the first shop I asked to work at, he told me that my art wasn't good enough and I needed to go get schooling and learn how to do better with art. And I was like, okay. So I signed up for the Art Institute, and it was literally math classes and English classes all day long.
No way.
No
I
way.
hated it.
That's so deflating.
Yeah. And so I skipped school every day and just played Guitar Hero and God of War and dropped out, and then had a baby and gave up on the thought of tattooing.
Wow.
And do you want me to go into the whole
Yeah,
story?
that'd be awesome.
This is like a flashback of last time. I was like, so I had told Brittany, okay, let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
So this person that lived in our apartment building after we had our baby, I knew her from childhood, and she had some friends that lived there that tattooed. And I was like, they can come to my house anytime, tattoo. And they were like, sweet. So they came up, did a couple tats. They asked if I wanted to try it. And I was like, it was the first time I've ever tried tattooing before.
Whoa.
He had a fucking baggie of needles with ink on them.
Oh my god.
Like a sandwich baggie.
Have your pick.
Dude.
Oh,
And they were like, you did a really good job. Like, your hand was really steady. I'm like, I loved it. You guys come back anytime. And I told Brittany that week, I was like, I just want whatever I do in life to just fall in my lap. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to have to like go through all these hoops and bounds. I just want it to happen. And that week, he shows up at my house with a full box of tattoo equipment. And he's like, Adam, I'm going to prison for forging checks. And I think you could do more with this than I could.
Oh my
And
gosh, dude.
And that was the last time I've ever seen him in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And he's been around in our town. I still have never seen him. And I just I started tattooing that night with that baggie of needles on my wife and my friend.
Crazy.
I did a heart on my wife's butt, and I did a heart on my friend's foot. And it was just off to the races from there. It's like just weird how it, like, the more I tell the story, it's like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, imagine if that guy never.
Yeah.
If that
And he
moment
just
never
came in
happened.
my life for a blip of time. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like
Dude.
maybe a couple months that
That's
I had
wild.
known about them.
That's like such a good story of the tattoo gods.
Yeah,
for
like,
real.
Like we chose you.
Yeah,
It is.
literally.
It's really crazy to look back at that situation, because my wife, she recalls the whole conversation we had about that and everything. It's just like,
Wow.
I'm just glad I took the opportunity and like stuck to it, because I had a lot of doubters in my family, my friends. Like, it was crazy.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and then you start to do well, and they're like, shit.
Yeah.
And then they're getting fired from their stupid safe corporate job.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
They're all, I mean, I have a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't like to say jealousy, but it probably is, because they feel like it just came so easy. Well,
Mhm.
Yeah.
look back, I've been doing this for 17 years now,
Right.
dedicated to this one thing.
Yep.
Well, it's my whole life. Like,
Yes.
you've been jumping around jobs all over the place.
Right.
If you stayed at your first job when I met you, you'd probably be in a high position.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, it's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So,
Well, too, and then you kind of went the non-conventional route too, of like, I'm gonna kind of be my own boss in a way. You know, obviously, that's a little bit different, but yeah, on a punch time clock, I gotta worry about my own vacation, my own retirement, all this stuff.
Especially at that time too. Now, like, pretty common thing, but I'm sure at that time, like, you're gonna go tattoo, dude?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
My mom, she had publicly posted on Facebook a few years ago that she was sorry for doubting me. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
She's like, this is never going to work to make a living off this and raise a family. And then my wife's parents, they all felt the same exact way. So I feel like it was just motivation to I'm going to make this work.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care what you say.
Uh-huh.
And now they all really appreciate and love what I'm doing.
They're
and
probably
for
like,
my
hey,
family.
can we meet so-and-so from the Vikings?
Yeah, for real. It is like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it feels good. I mean,
How did you start tattooing those guys?
through a barber, actually.
Really?
So this barber in Apple Valley, he started following me on Facebook years ago, and we never had met. And I was at Burnsville Mall once, and I seen him standing outside of this place, and I'm like, "Are you Caesar?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, it's Adam Bertram. What's up?" And he's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" So him and I hit it off the bat like that. And then I got my hair cut from him, and then he started getting some work from me. Well, then he started tattooing some players, or cutting hair for some of the players.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Where'd you get all your work from?" And he recommended them, and
Wow.
it's just been kind of a domino. You know, it's the same as people in town. As soon as some people see some good work, the word spreads.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, I went to the Vikings game last time, and they called me famous. The Vikings players, they're like, "You're famous in here." I'm like, "Whatever? Are you kidding me?" And they're like, "No, for real. Your name is like, oh, everyone knows who you are."
That's awesome.
That's awesome,
That's
dude.
fucking sweet.
Well,
That's
good
so
for you,
cool.
man. That's super great.
Yeah.
You know, you're so humble about it, and so that means you deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
dude.
man. That's
And
really
I mean,
cool.
obviously you do badass work, so
Well, thanks.
they're coming to the right person. And
Yeah.
so I've heard some stories from other people who know some of these guys too, and they're like, dude, you'd be surprised. Like, some of them just go to like a house party. They don't care. They just want to get.
Oh, yeah.
They just want to get tattooed.
I know.
It doesn't have to be good. They just want to get tattooed tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely like that. But
Pretty funny.
for some reason, they have all like been totally okay with waiting. I mean, I'll schedule them like a month out.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
when I
cool.
get a cancellation, and they've all been like really cool about that. And I think that because I'm doing good work. One of the coaching staff members that I tattooed, he said that once you like earn their trust, you're gonna be their guy.
That's awesome.
And they will tell everyone about
Which
you.
makes
You
sense.
know?
You know, yeah. You kind of don't want to end up going to some douchey dude who's.
You take care of them. You're not ripping them off. And
Yeah, and I'm like, I totally understand who they are, and I don't tell anybody in Owatonna when they're here. I don't have them on the days off or
Respect them.
anything.
Yeah.
The shop's full of people, and they'll be in there getting tattooed, but I don't make it a big thing, and so they feel really comfortable and relaxed there.
That's
and
cool.
A lot of
that's
them
good.
just like it's nice sitting here getting tattooed because I have time to go through my phone and text people and answer emails without feeling I need to do something else with my time.
Yeah.
You know, they're trapped there, so it's like,
Right.
this is great. for
Perfect
me.
timing.
Yeah.
Kind of like sitting on an airplane. That's
Yeah,
cool.
for real. Yeah.
Rad, dude.
I know because I've checked out your work, but what's your favorite stuff to tattoo? If somebody just said, I want a tattoo, what are you picking?
So something I used to hate because it was really hard is nature scenes. And I feel like I kind of embraced it a while ago, and it's been like way more fun. And I've found a lot of cool techniques to make trees and to do things very organically and not just like stiff. And my uncle is like a really, really, really great artist.
Cool.
He does a lot of nature and wildlife.
Oh, cool.
And so it's kind of been in my life forever.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it since I was a little kid at my grandma's house. And so maybe that's why I gravitated towards that a little bit more without knowing it. But I was pretty resistant to it. I was like, I don't want to do any more fucking tree tattoos.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
you're trying to recreate something that God created. You're like, why doesn't mine look like
Well, I think being organic is the way to be with it, because if you don't, it's way too stiff.
Yeah.
And it's got to feel natural and not so like, just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah.
Play with it. You know, it's you can change it as you go too. If you don't like the way a tree is shaped, you can do a little extra. And,
Right.
you know, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's stressful because it's busy.
Sure.
But
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
I feel like if the more detail you do, the better it's going to be, because even if it was a little bit of detail, people still know it's a tree and a mountain.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can go as deep as you want with it.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
When you were coming up, like in the shop, you know, you said that you learned a lot just from the people around you and stuff. Was there anybody that you like really looked up to that, you know, when you were first starting, like I really want to do this, or was it just more your surroundings and
I think it was more just my surroundings.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of people that I admired their work and like wanted to tattoo like them, but it's like when I think about somebody specifically, it's like I just kind of watch and just ask questions here and there. And yeah, I don't know. My friend always that used to work with me, he always would say that like I don't ever take advice from him, but like this person I will take advice from because I like look up to them or something. I'm like, well, maybe, but I still respect what you do.
Totally.
I mean, I'm just, I don't know, maybe I just it's just subconsciously doing that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I never really had like any aspirations or like anything. I just wanted to do a great job and
that could be a good thing too, because I feel like maybe you could get hyper focused on like one thing or one style of art or tattooing or whatever. So you kind of turn the blinders on to everything else around you.
For sure. I mean, I really focus on just trying to do the best job I can for my clients, and having them leave happy is my only goal. I have like completely given up on trying to like spread my name and like be known and stuff. I feel like if that stuff happens, it'll just happen. And I just think being genuine and stuff is like the best way to
you're not going after it and trying to
there's no motive at all, like whatsoever. I just want to make my clients really happy because they're the only ones that matter. Like somebody in Germany that sees my Instagram page, like that doesn't affect me whatsoever.
That's true.
Like, so
are you coming to Minnesota anytime soon? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, it's been quite the journey, dude. It's been cool.
So since you started 100 years ago, have you seen like any changes in tattooing that are notable to you that like, whoa, that's not how? I know I've got a bunch of examples, but
are you talking about how artists are or how they do their tattoo work?
That equipment, just kind of the whole movement of it all.
Well, I mean, I think the iPad thing has been amazing.
I totally shit talk the iPad first. Like, dude, what's so stupid?
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Yeah.
I'm over here with a piece of paper taped to my leg.
I think a lot of people did too. And then, we were talking earlier today is like, that you draw on the iPad a lot whenever you try to like double tap.
Oh, I do.
A tablet.
I do it on paper now.
Yeah, paper. I
I
tried to double tap a freehand thing one time.
I
hope nobody saw that.
I know.
Not gonna work.
I mean, how incredible though. Like, I feel like my work went upscaled from the iPad because I was able to zoom way in on things that I couldn't see by eye.
And a light box.
Exactly.
Through the tracing.
I mean, there's something very special and unique about like hand drawing stuff on paper, but what a mess and what a waste of time.
Oh, and it takes forever.
I mean, you can be super proud of what you're doing because you know that you did all this stuff, but like your client doesn't give a shit.
That's true.
Like, they just want the best result, and that's
I know dudes who are like
personal preference.
No, man, I still draw because asked, have you tried? I bet no, man. I prefer drawing. It's like, well, it still is. It's just a totally different tool.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would be super curious to see some of these really amazing artists who can just, draw anything on, but they're on paper still. Like what they could do on an iPad.
True. I mean, all the tools that are right there accessible for them. I mean, they could just. But it's a personal preference thing, and some people are pretty proud of like not going that direction, and that's totally cool.
Yeah, which I think I still kind of like maybe admire that too. It's like, man, you're still just
I definitely admire the shit out of that. I have the time, but that's not how I want to spend it. So
well, and too, I guess if the end result is the same or maybe even better,
exactly. I definitely feel though like I've gravitated towards doing a lot of realism work because I don't spend my time drawing. And so the easiest and less stressful way for me to tattoo is by doing realism, because I can trace things.
Yeah.
But it like puts me in a box a lot of times. Like when I have to do something that they're asking like 8 different things in their design, and I can't draw it by hand, it's very frustrating.
Okay.
It can be like very overwhelming, because I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do here. Like,
do you ever use AI?
I haven't really yet. I've used AI images to use for my work, but I've never personally used AI yet.
Oh, well, that's what I meant. I was like,
but you're saying like to create it myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, okay.
But I found images on the internet that I've used for different like features or like wolves or lions and things like that, because they're giving you something new that the internet hasn't produced.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say, is like, I don't even use Google anymore. I just go right to, and then type in whatever it is. And it helps a lot. And sometimes I might have a direction that I want to go just in my brain, but then it'll pop up something like, okay, well, obviously that's going to be way better because it's pulling from the whole internet.
Yeah.
And so, all right, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps.
I have no qualms with it whatsoever.
Dude, I think it's so awesome. I understand what people are, because there's some artists that I really look up to that absolutely just hate it.
Oh yeah, I just read there was an artist that's doing a seminar on AI, and there was some pretty big name artists on there just tearing them apart. And he was explaining his side and they were explaining their side, and I'm like, I totally get that, but like, let people just do what,
the shit ain't going away.
Whatever.
So you can, and I think it's probably just, that's the iPad all over again, or the rotary machine, or
cartridges, or
Is it maybe like everybody going from strictly books to like Google? Like, was that transition?
That was probably the same deal.
For sure.
Same exact deal.
You're going to trace that rose, like everybody's going to find that rose. And we all have tattooed the same exact rose. That's like 5 deep in the Google chart.
You want a rose, that's it. What else do you want me to draw? It's going to look just like that if I draw it by hand. I'm going to look at that anyhow. Hey, I'm going to draw that. Is that what you want? Okay, I can do that.
I remember, doing Google searches for stuff like a rose. You find a cool one, like if you're like me. Okay, number 5. I'm like, maybe there's a better one. Oh shit, that one's awesome. It's the same one, just further down. All right, maybe I should go with that one then.
I have a lot of that as well. I just had to do some lavender flowers on my son's girlfriend for her 18th birthday, and we had went through Pinterest and saved a whole bunch of lavender flowers that we both liked. And then like a month later, the day before our appointment, we were going through them again, and she's like, oh, it was on this date that we saved all those photos. I'm going through them like, I love that one. She's like, that's the same one that you loved a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, let's do that. Yeah, that's the
that's meant to be.
It just kind of seems like AI is just giving you new options depending on how you use it.
And I think that it takes creativity to input, because you kind of have to talk a language to it.
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
It's like, you can't, some of them you can say, hey, make me a really cool picture of a barnyard or something like that. Like you generally have to be pretty specific
on what you want in the image, how you want it to be.
Which means if you did that prompt or try to create that image and you did, it's gonna be different because we're all gonna still.
And they have like 75 different styles of artwork you can have it in too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm not, I haven't quite crossed that bridge yet. But.
Yeah, dude. I'm usually super late to the game on all this stuff, but I am like. I'm here for the whole humanoid robot thing and AI, and I'm like, dude, I mean, could it get scary? I don't know. Show me when. Because I kind of don't believe it. I'm a little.
Change is always scary. And people are always going to be resistant to it all the time. So it's like, it's happening regardless if you like it or not. So let's just see what happens.
Well, he was just talking because he went to McDonald's before we started. And he's like, he had to ask the person. It was a simple request. It was basically an ice cream cone just with no cone.
Just like in a cup.
Yeah. In a cup. And it took like 3 tries before they got it.
They came with an ice cream cone. I was like, could I just get ice cream in a cup? And then they came back with like the cup. They just like put it in the cup. And I was like, because Anna's like gluten-free or whatever. I was like, no, like she can't have the cone.
Can't even have
and she
the
just like
in it.
rolls her eyes and walks back. And I was like, if I would have done that at my job when I was at HQ, I would have gotten fired.
It's
for doing
crazy
some shit
how
like
these guys.
So, dude, I'm like, robots.
Yeah.
Just replace those little assholes.
Well, they are. They, then they put the kiosk in, and I'm like that old guy's like, I don't want to fucking use a fucking kiosk.
Somebody help
Can I
me?
just
I'm sitting at the front. They got one thing, and I'm like, can you just fucking come in?
Yeah.
I don't want to use a stupid kiosk. My son's like, dude, it's not that hard. I'm like, I don't work at McDonald's. I don't know where all these things are. It's going to take me 20 minutes to put my order in.
Yeah. Right.
But now I've gotten used to it, and it's like, it's all good.
It's I don't know, man. I just think it's amazing. I think it's super cool.
It is cool.
It's wild.
I mean, it's like the possibilities are completely endless, and like you just have no idea. I just don't think that we're gonna destroy ourselves because of AI.
Right. I think we've had plenty of dangerous things laying around in our world already that probably would have already happened.
Right.
And I don't know.
One thing I'm not probably on board for is like the tattoos that are done by machines.
I don't think that's ever gonna work. I think I mean, you see the thing. I'm like, that's not gonna.
No.
How do you fit a back in that?
Yeah,
like
you can't. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
You can fit your little forearm tattoo that's super linear and.
Right.
But what happens around here now?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and
there's
there's enough people tattooing right now. What do we need to even do that for?
It's not even a problem that needs fixing.
No, not at all.
Stupid kids at McDonald's is a problem that needs fixing.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it was Anna or I too. They're like, how does the robot stretch the skin? I don't know. The videos I've seen, it looks like it just like thrashes people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty hardcore.
All right.
What comes to mind for like one of the most or a couple just like super unusual tattoo requests that you've had or something that comes
other
to mind?
than the hand tattoo
that's pretty gnarly.
That wasn't that unusual. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I get you get asked these questions a lot when you're tattooing, and I never can think of a good answer to that.
Yeah.
I have somebody that I am currently tattooing on that wants to get Jerry Jones getting fucked by a bull on his head.
That would qualify.
The Dallas Cowboys on it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, dude, I've done some pretty cool work on you, and that's what you want to get next,
And what you're thinking is like, how do I find that picture to trace?
Exactly right. So I did a whole entire torso on him of his favorite Minnesota players killing their rival players.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did Kevin Garnett slam dunking LeBron James' severed head. And these were really hard to come up with because I had to use real photos I could find, and then I had to make them look like it was natural. Oh my God, this guy gave me headaches, but I love everything we've done on him. I'm really happy with it. And so is he. And he's actually been kind of a big hit at the shop with the Vikings players. They all asked to have him come in and see it because I did Harrison Smith holding up a decapitated bear's head. And I did Kirby Puckett hitting Aaron Judge.
Bye, guys. Thank
See you
you.
later. I did Kirby Puckett hitting Aaron Judge across the head with a baseball bat.
Oh my gosh.
And I did Matt Dumba slap-shotting Patrick Kane's head on the ice.
And is this like realism kind of stuff?
It's all realistic.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's like it's almost like Garbage Pail Kids,
Yeah.
Just like
it's
take this
really gnarly
normal thing and then just.
Did you know as well that it was going to be like a full
from
piece,
the
so you had
start?
to-
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
That
I
sounds
just
super
like
difficult.
as soon as we got the last piece done, I'm like, thank God. And then he's like, my next piece, I want a full back piece of a preacher getting tortured by a bunch of demon babies.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like some Tom Strom stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So he found some really cool AI artwork actually, and we used a bunch of that to create this piece, and it's like really gnarly. My wife, and she's like blessing me when I come home. She doesn't even want to see it. Like she's just like, that's really fucked up. I'm like, well, his meaning behind it is to just like show the disgusting nature of the Catholic Church and these things that have happened. Yeah. And so that's how he wants to display it on his body. That's how he wants to display it.
I love that. Like I love shock factor stuff, and I don't go probably as full crazy as I want to with my work, but I do like to mess with people a little bit. And some of the stuff I like first I draw it. I'm like, if somebody gets this, I doubt anybody's going to get this. But I'm going to draw it anyhow.
You're saying like an innuendo kind of tattoo?
Yeah. Or just super blatant too.
Yeah.
But
like Jerry Jones getting.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
That's right. Wait a minute.
I'm going to do it. I told him forever I wasn't going to do it. I'm like, you know what, dude, let's do this.
I would be curious. You should totally run that through AI because I don't know.
I probably need to.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my plan is how I would search this is I would type probably, these are the other weird things that I'll be searching on my phone. And my wife's laying in bed. She's like, why are you looking at like decapitated bears and like dead bears like in the woods? You know, like
I was thinking of a new hobby.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good image, but I would probably type in probably a bull having sex. And then I would find maybe an image of somebody bending over and put Jerry Jones' face on it, you know, like his head, but try to make it look like it's.
But then you do it through AI.
Yeah, I'm sure it would come out pretty good.
It does have
like
at least the one
censorship.
The one that I use sometimes. I've even typed in certain political names and it won't do it. It will straight up say, "Oh, our."
Well, I wonder what that is because I've seen all kinds of those ones of like the elites at like their parties. Have you seen those? They're like wearing masks and like doing. I mean, there's all the elites are in there, and like that,
well, there's so many different models of AI that
some might not have those censorships.
Yeah.
Like the one you use then?
It's called Midjourney.
Midjourney.
Yeah. Okay. It's like $30 a month for unlimited, and it's fast and stuff.
You'll have to show me that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested because.
I mean, I put a lot of the stuff on my Instagram.
Like, those are.
A lot of it is.
Okay.
Actually, all the tattoos that I did today and yesterday, you know, like yesterday was like the Minnesota with like a nature scene in it.
Yeah, I love those.
That's all AI.
That's super cool.
Because I don't want to, you know, again, I don't want to find just the same picture that everybody else has. Yeah. And generally, it's more vivid. It's got a lot more color.
Well, I've noticed like a lot of the nature stuff that I've been doing, like those AI images are phenomenal. Yeah. Like their trees look really great, and their mountains. I mean, I think as long as you don't have to have hands in your picture, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, I know. Because it has six fingers on the hand,
or three fingers, or whatever. You know,
little claw.
Yeah,
it's so weird that it can't. It can do all those things, and just like hands.
I know.
I wonder maybe it's too small for it to see, or I don't know. But then maybe why doesn't it give you 8 eyes?
Yeah. I don't know. But
because sometimes I will like, okay, you know, a knight holding a sword, and it's like. Fuck, he's only got 3 fingers.
Yeah. Good thing you caught stuff like that. You know?
I think I have.
Yeah. Maybe you just put a big bear mitt on his hand.
That's right.
There you
go. An old bear glove.
That would be even cooler, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, though. That guy's.
I just think that's just so creative.
Yeah.
How would you think of that?
That's truly one of one tattoos.
Right. Okay, well, that's a good answer then, I guess. I mean, his whole body is some of the weirdest shit I've ever done. I mean, up on top of, I did his whole head as well.
Cool.
And on the back of his head, I did a shrunken head mask stitched into the back of his head.
Whoa.
And there was like, you know, rope stitching on the mouth and the eyes, and then I put like rope that looks like it's going through his skin.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then on the other side, I did a kid, like a demon kid holding a spear, and it's going through this like naked woman's body. She's like leaning over him. On top of his head, I did a demon slitting an angel's throat to represent like you can't ever trust the people, and you know, like you can't trust everybody, like that kind of deal. So he's just like got some crazy ideas. He spent some time in prison. He's lived a pretty rough life, but he's like one of the best like stand-up guys I've ever met. I mean, he's like super polite and really nice, but he just has a lot of things he wants to like get out.
Well, he's probably found some level of success too. One, you know, just getting so many tattoos, but then also getting good tattoos.
Yeah.
It's probably like, well, all right, you're probably well past that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have a lot of love for that guy. Like I brought him to one of the Vikings games to meet a bunch of players, and we got to go on the sidelines and trying to like give him those cool opportunities that he probably never thought would have come in his life before. So
that's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Feeling lost? Down? Out of options? Got questions about tattoos but don't know where to turn? Well, have no fear. The Lady Liberty Tattoo Podcast hotline is here. That's right, folks. Call in and get tattoo advice straight from the pros. Whether it's about your tattoo horror story or if you just want to know why your tattoo itches, we've got the ears and answers you need. Call now, 612-356-2299. Again, 612-356-2299. Operators are standing by. Kinda. Leave us a voice memo and we will review it on our show.
Is there any stories that come to mind in the shop? Similar thing, just kind of weird, wild?
We watch a lot of movies at work.
Okay.
We have TVs. I think we have like 8 TVs.
Oh my God.
We have them mounted on the ceiling.
Really?
Swivel 360 and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
So it's like a lot of movie quotes at the shop and a lot of stuff like that. But we never really had anything like wild happen there. It's pretty mild and like pretty mellow, you know, most of the time.
Bunch of old guys or what?
Just Al, the old owner. He's going to be 60 this year. And he's been tattooing since 96, I believe.
That's awesome.
And, you know, during that time, like they were called tag team tattoo. One guy would do the outlines and one guy would do the fill-in.
Huh.
And then he always says this story that somebody came in and he's like, I can't let my wife get tattooed here. And he's like, what? Why? He's like, because I can't let my wife get tattooed at a place called Tag Team Tattoo.
That's what the shop name was?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then they changed it to the Dragon's Den.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, I think the more risque the name back then too was the thing.
Well, because then it stood out.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you got people in your door.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because they weren't normal. Well, I guess a lot of them aren't now either, but I feel like it's probably been tamed down like that one.
Yeah. But, you know, Al, he has been around for so long and tattooed so many people. He's just like a giant kid and he has like tons of funny ass dad jokes and tons of like just really long extended jokes or just like all kinds of stories from people and stuff. So he's like our main base of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anybody that comes in, they're always like, yeah, Al, he's so funny. You know, so it's great to have him just because of his experience and because of like his knowledge in almost every department. Like we Google check him all the time because I'm like, that can't be fucking true. And he's right all the time.
And I'd be curious to hear his answer of like, you know, obviously he's seen so much change in tattooing.
Yeah.
Like even when not when because I had tattooed like when I was 15.
Okay.
And the only way to get a tattoo kit was through the mail.
Yeah.
So to like clip out the thing and send in a money order, you know.
Yeah, through like a Rogers book.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, just through a tattoo magazine.
Yeah.
So what did it look like?
Or is it Spalding, not Rogers?
Well, it was yeah, Spalding and Rogers.
Yeah,
was the company.
okay.
They're not, I don't think they exist anymore. But that was my second tattoo.
How could you these days?
Yeah, true.
You know.
True. But yeah, how did dudes get tattoo equipment?
Yeah, and now you can
90s.
just literally order anything on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
That blows my mind. I was telling somebody before, I'm like, when you ordered stuff, they had to check that your shop was legit and it was licensed.
Yep.
And now, like, you can get anything online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which there's parts of me that kind of, I encourage people to tattoo, even if it is out of their house. Like, if you're really passionate about it, you go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna. I understand it's not the safest thing to do, but that's how I started.
That's how pretty much all of us started.
Yeah.
You know, if we didn't do it a lot, we did it a couple times, at least, at minimum. But every good tattooer that I've ever known,
they started on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like a rite of passage, I feel like. Because then you do it and you're like, there's got to be more.
Yeah.
This has to get better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm having people sit on a weight bench to do their foot tattoo.
Well, this girl we just hired, she is 19 years old and she's been tattooing since she was 15 years old.
No
like
way.
On friends and family and stuff.
Wow.
And like she's got like a true passion for it and just a drive and motivation that I haven't seen in a really long time. It's just like, I'm just super proud of her because she's made it and like, now she's a tattoo artist and
That's
it's
crazy.
just really refreshing.
Yeah, because that reverence and respect for the craft is not quite there as it used to be.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, just a real passion, and that's all I see. And so it's like, that's enough. I don't really care what your artwork looks like, honestly.
Yeah.
That part will get better as it
you
grows
can work
because
on
you're
that.
passionate about it.
Yes.
You care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that will probably, extend to the client, which, like you said earlier, they're the most important person in this whole transaction. Is that they're treated well, they're given the best as possible.
Even when I worked at the first tattoo shop I worked at, I wasn't like, I look back at the work I was doing, I'm like, oh my God, that's bad. But people still like to get tattooed by me and still recommended me, and because I was just really good to people, and people know that and they feel that, and so it's a lot more important sometimes than the actual work itself. The connections you make with people, and
agreed.
You know, it's a big deal.
Right.
You know,
right.
So
yeah, I think that's true.
I think too, it's like for a lot of people, especially if they're like looking for a tattoo artist or whatever, it's so intimidating for somebody who maybe isn't tattooed at all, never. And it's like I'm just not gonna go because I don't know anybody. But then you have a great referral like that, or it's like, you know, like I got my guy, I'll come with you even. And it's just like I agree with you. I think that's better than any marketing. You know,
change the narrative that it's some like scary place that people need to come into and feel like I did that first time when I went to the shop. Like, if I wasn't such a punk kid myself, I would have probably never tried again. But I was like, well, fuck that guy. You know? I'll figure this out on my own.
That's cool.
I ended up getting my portrait of my kid, and then I just covered it up recently. So it wasn't very good.
Okay.
But
yeah, and I think that's, you know, why this place is the way it is. Like, we want people to feel pretty relaxed and comfortable when they come in. You know, it's like, I don't want like blood red walls, and although we do play metal, I play metal all the time. It's just not blaring. You know, just kind of create a welcome environment. So, you know,
I love my dad to death, but when I told him that I was gonna pursue tattooing, he was like, tattoo shops are rough. Like, he has no tattoos even.
Right,
so
but
it's a rough place
to
hang out.
That's the narrative of it, and that's
guess.
what people think about. And so it's like, I want people to come in and like totally change their mind. And I like to change people's minds. Like, I golf a lot. I golf 4 times a week at least.
Oh wow.
And I golf with a lot of people that are like in big business in Owatonna or whatever. And I can feel this right when I meet them, that they're like, oh, fuck this kid.
What is
know?
he gonna drive for us?
But as I get to know them throughout the day, I can totally earn their respect by just being a good, genuine person. And they're like, okay, well, maybe now I don't have to judge people because they have tattoos. Because that guy was really nice and he had tattoos.
Right.
So,
you kicked our ass at golf.
I do.
And he just
I earn
plays
their
golf.
respect that way too, as I beat them. Respect me, motherfucker.
Mustache.
It's definitely like being tattooed is, even since I like was younger. I remember when I was like in high school, middle school, it was like, oh, if you get tattoos like on your arms, or like God forbid your neck, like you're not gonna get a job anywhere. And then as I was like coming out, things would change. But I remember getting told that by teachers, family,
that was
whatever.
real at the time.
For sure.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to get a job at Mayo Hospital if you had all these tats. I'm doing full sleeves on these guys now. I'm doing full sleeves on cops and like Army vets and all this stuff. And it's like, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, people
the dude
accepted
that
it.
Did you ever meet Brandon? He owned One Life where I worked.
Yeah, Brandon.
Big dude, Brandon Netzel.
Yes.
He told me he's got both of his hands tattooed. I mean, I don't know how long he's been tattooing, longer than me. He's like, he was wearing a hoodie one time, so all you could see was his hands, and straight up somebody's like, where'd you serve time? I was like, what do you mean, dude? Well, your hands are tattooed. Like, what? That's so wild to assume that. But I did, whenever I went full-time tattooing, the first thing I did was get my neck tattoos. I want to screw myself from ever getting a normal job ever again.
Exact thing.
No, it won't matter though.
I was like, I'm committed. This is it. I still have strayed away from my face. I almost did my face. I wanted to get just a little tattoo machine right here.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I was just like,
I know. I feel like
still
sometimes
a part of me that
that
wants to like
be cute. I mean,
or just respectful for my grandma or something. I don't know.
Do you wear a turtleneck around her?
No. But the face is like, that's bold.
Your face, honey.
It's very bold.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean,
some people pull it off well.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't think I could do a face tattoo.
I think it depends what it is too. When people are just like blast random stupid stuff,
Oh,
that's
or like just full face skull, or just
but you
I'll
can.
awful.
Yeah.
It's crazy as hell, dude.
Yeah.
It is
You
so
are
crazy.
fucking nuts,
Uh-huh.
but I respect you
Yeah.
because you did that, and that's freaking hardcore.
I want to know how they make money.
It's
Well,
gotta be
if
that
you ever
stuff.
go to the tattoo conventions, like the full-bodied puzzle guy,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
charges you money to take pictures with him. So he'll make a
Oh.
haul when he goes to those shows. Like
Mhm.
we met him once, and I was like, "Can we take a picture?" He's like, $20. You know, I'm like, $20? Like, you're just a
Wow.
guy.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I
Yeah.
went to the first Minneapolis convention. He wasn't doing that then, so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's where we
But
saw
I'm-
him
I
there.
mean,
Was at
yeah.
the what is it?
Villain Arts.
Yeah, what's his name though? It's
Oh,
like something.
The Enigma.
The Enigma.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm shocked that he still is doing that stuff. I mean,
You're committed
obviously
now.
he's not
Yeah.
gonna
You're
be able to do
committed,
anything
dude.
else.
This is you now forever.
You
gotta be
have to
that guy all
swallow
the time.
a
Yes.
lightsaber for
Split
the rest of your life.
Show us your split tongue.
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw a girl. This was just a couple of days ago. This girl on Instagram, and it was like she was at some convention or whatever. Full face tattooed, teeth filed, like
Mm.
implants, looked like a
Gnarly.
demon or something. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But then literally I thought of that. I was like, you have like a normal life outside of this.
Yeah.
And you still have to
Yeah.
wear your cost, whatever you want to call
But
it. Like, that
like
is gnarly.
there's a like I said, I respect that because
Yeah.
those people have found a way to just be like, I truly don't care
For sure.
Mhm.
what you think of me.
Mhm.
And I think that's super awesome. But like, just me as a person, I do want people to still see me and not be like, whoa.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's just me.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
totally.
I think whenever you go,
You know.
there's this tattooer I've followed for a long time. Jim Miner is his name. He used to work at Analog Tattoo, I think, San Francisco, whatever. He always had this one rose that was incredible, and I'd always go back to looking at that rose. But he got his whole face tattooed in this super, super tightly intricate, wound up like filigree,
Oh.
Mm.
and
gnarly.
you just can't see the person anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what's super
Yeah, that's kind of what freaks me out
Yeah.
too. Like you're forever that way until
Uh-huh.
you are buried. And it's just like this is
Right.
crazy.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you know, it takes all kinds of kinds.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Absolutely.
mean, somebody got to do all that work for him.
Yeah, and they've created conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, right. What's a piece of advice you'd give to somebody who wants to get their first tattoo?
Do their research.
Yeah.
Just find the right person, somebody that you like trust. And I'm trying to think of like, you know, what it's like for those first time clients. And I think it comes down to just like being able to trust their artist to like
Mhm.
do their thing without resistance
Mm.
of their own like ideas of how things should go, because like we're looking at this stuff and doing this 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to allow your artist to just like, if you see their work and you trust them,
Mm-hmm.
you need to allow them to kind of run the show a little bit.
You
Mhm.
agreed.
You know,
Yeah.
because it gets really hard when they start getting nitpicky. I don't even send out anybody's drawings before their
I
tattoos.
don't either.
And why? Because they
Oh,
want to change a bunch of
because
stuff.
they're going to show mom,
Yeah.
and mom who does not
Doesn't
have a
like
tattoo
that
at all.
part.
Yeah.
Huh?
Doesn't like that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're
Yeah.
and then they're going to request the change. You're
Yeah.
going to make the change, send it back. Cousin's going to look at it. I wouldn't do it that way. What you should do,
Mhm.
you know, my tattoo artist, and it'll come back, and then you'll just end up in the original drawing anyhow.
Yeah.
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 That's
Exactly.
always happened. And well,
Yeah.
I don't do it anymore either. But
Yeah.
like, nah, because you're always going to find something. I tell people I'd rather you love it or hate it the instant you see it.
Absolutely.
That's your gut.
Absolutely.
that.
And that's never going to go away. I mean,
Mhm.
we've all seen that face when they look in the mirror and they're not like fully satisfied. It's
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it just
it's
crushes you.
weekly for me.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
surprised
not
I'm
true.
still here.
That's not true. Whatever.
Actually, I just conjure up a bunch of AI tattoos and post them as my own. I haven't tattooed in 3 years. dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That would be
I
something.
found the
The secrets to
Yes.
success. I don't have
Hell
to do
yeah.
anything anymore. Just
Hang
type
out
it
and
I
in.
just
drink
buy all my
Tennessee.
trophies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put cat god on them.
Yeah, I love that. You could do that.
You
You know,
could.
you could be that guy.
Yeah.
It would be sweet. Just don't meet anybody ever, and then you'd be fine. You'd just go along your life.
Oh, I've never heard of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprised.
You know, there's probably dudes on Instagram doing that exact thing.
You're
Oh,
probably right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something like we could go back a little bit to some of the technology thing. Like, I feel like some of the photos and everything people are taking, regardless, I mean, if you guys do that or not, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it can be misleading to people because you're completely filtering this photo. Even though you're not going in and personally putting a filter on it, your camera lens is filtering it for you and making it your contrast way darker. And like just enhancing all these things that are not real. And it's like, you get a lot of clients that come in and want this, and you're like, that can't look like that. Like, I'm not going to be able to achieve that because that's not real.
We do use them. We have them on these.
Yeah, I think they look great.
But it, you know, obviously the benefits is that it takes away that
glare
fresh,
and all that stuff. Yeah,
that, and I feel like maybe that's just what our eyes are supposed to see. But you know, we can't see that way for whatever reasons. Maybe there's shit in the way.
Are you saying with the lens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear you. That, I mean, I would feel pretty weird putting my photo into Photoshop and manipulating it that way.
There's a lot of people that do that. I mean, I'm sure you follow those pages on Instagram that call that stuff out from artists. You know? And
what's the one called? It was so good.
It's been a long time. I actually I stopped following it because I just like didn't know. Like,
well, they kind of stopped posting. They said I think who owns Elm Street Tattoo in Dallas? Oliver Peck. I think he ran one of those, and dude, they would massacre people on it. But it was like, well, obviously that's like you blurred that.
Yeah.
Digitally.
Fixed lines, you're adding extra blackened spots you might have missed. Like, and then your client will come in with a photo from the internet, and it's like, that's not real. Like, that, you can't look like that. It's impossible. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, it'll only look like that through this photo.
Yeah, and so it's hard because then you're not going to meet your client's expectations because they think that that's what they can have, and it's like, that's not going to happen. You know, I'm going to do my best, but it's not going to be that. So
I get it.
I just have strayed away from that. My son showed me something on my iPhone where I can turn off the live photos and the like the flash part of it, and it makes the photo look as natural as possible. Like, and it looks really great. I like how the pictures have been coming out. So
that's cool.
What advice do you have for new tattooers?
Don't do it. Stay away.
Or pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you know, don't get in debt with the IRS, dude. That shit fucking blows.
And that's every tattooer's.
Oh, we got the new girl, and like she already made a comment the other day. She's like, I had to take a little bit out of my savings from taxes to do this. I'm like, don't do it, man. It's just a snowball, just gonna build and build
and it just takes 1 year.
Oh, dude, I did it for like 7 years. I'm paying back taxes from like 2014.
Yeah,
so
pay your taxes.
It's brutal. Pay your taxes and
set aside taxes.
Try to just be open to learning everything, and not just like, this is what I want to do. That'll come with people like trusting you as an artist. Because right away you're gonna get a lot of flack. Like, people are gonna like question what you're doing, or they want to change this or that, and like, you just kind of have to be okay with that for a while, because it's just, that's the way it is. And when you start building a name, people hear your name, then they'll just be like, I want you to just take over,
do your thing, man.
And that took a long time to earn that from people. For sure. Probably 5 or 6 years. It's not a month's thing; it's a year's thing. You know, and 5 years at least before you start gaining some good ground.
I can't remember what the saying is, and you know, it's like, in 5 years you're learning, in 10 years you're getting good, or something, or maybe it was 5 years. In 5 years you're working on getting good. Something like that. I wish I could remember it, but it is. It's
it is how it is exactly. And like, they're like so excited about getting into tattooing and like taking on just things that they're ultimately going to hurt them in the long run. Because, you know, if you do something to a client, that spreads a lot further than if you do good. Like, if you do bad, it goes a lot longer. good praise. You know?
Right.
Bad praise will be out the door, and it'll be spread everywhere before you know it.
Yeah, that's true. So do your best to treat people well, and
Yeah.
right, be honest with them if you can't do anything.
Yeah,
Like,
that too. Yeah, be honest for sure.
I'm not the guy.
Yeah, but it's okay to sometimes step out of your box a little bit, but just
Yep.
make sure your client's aware that you're doing that, and so
Mhm.
they're with you during that process
Mhm.
to encourage you and to help you and things like that. Because there was a lot of times where I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I believe in you, man. You know, you can do it.
Yeah.
And it helped me get through that.
Yep.
And even though the tattoo didn't turn out that great, we were able to like overcome some things, and then I can learn from that.
That's cool.
But,
Well, and two, you know, I mean, that probably didn't come right away. Like you said, it probably took like a good 5 years plus before you got to that point where you're like, I don't know, man. And they're like, dude, it's cool.
Yeah. I've seen everything you do. You can do it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, you don't know anything.
You have
I'm
no
scared
idea.
right now, man. You're going to show this to everybody.
Right. But then that could be the tattoo that just opens up the door for all the more of that kind of work.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
just keep
exactly.
going and going. Yeah.
And what's your favorite part about being a tattooer and just tattooing in general?
I would probably say the freedom of being who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anybody to tell me how I can be and when I can come. I mean, obviously my clients dictate when I have to go to work and things like that, but being able to have the freedom, if something were to come up that's important, I can be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I'll come in on my day off this day, and I can do that. And I have the freedom to play golf and to hang out with my family. And, you know, at this point now, making really good money too, which is really great. I mean, it's never been the goal, but it's like, it's created a really great life for my family and I.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I love that very much.
It's a huge bonus for sure.
Because I'm happy, you know. Al always says, like, I'm like, you never stop working. He's like, you're not working when you're doing what you love. I'm like, yeah, you're so right.
Yeah.
You know, I walk into the shop sometimes and just like take a breath, even now, and just be like, oh, I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just happy that I'm not miserable right now. And that I want more time on that clock when I'm at work, because I need to have more time to work, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a really nice feeling. I would say like prepping for art, for tattooing is the only part I don't like about tattooing.
That's the hard part.
Yeah,
I feel
it is. Because it's homework and you have to do it on your own time, and nobody's like there to force you to do it. And if you procrastinate, you're the only one with your ass getting bit. It's pretty shitty, dude. Like it's really shitty. I've almost cried in the morning before, like so stressed about not being prepared for something that someone has waited months for, and they're extremely excited. And to them, whatever I presented them would have been good for them, but I'm like, not for me. Like, I had way more expectation than that. But I just procrastinated the shit out of this. And now I'm fucked.
Too much golf.
Yeah, I've had to call somebody and be like, I'm so sorry, I can't even do your tattoo. Like, I can't. And they're like, it's fine, man. I'm like, you know?
I've done that a couple times too.
It
Like, man,
sucks.
this is not where I want it.
Yeah, it's such a horrible feeling.
Yeah, it's weird.
But you feel that way because you care about what you do. And
exactly.
You care about
and then the clients understand because they can feel that too. They
Yeah.
know you care. You're not just doing it because you need to make money.
Because they've been on the schedule for months.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to try to make it happen. But if I feel like, okay, I'm forcing this and I'm going to be tattooing something that I just know I shouldn't be because it's not ready, I need to just be open with this person.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll try to talk you into keep going. Like, they're like, you can do it, man. I'm like, no, I can't. This conversation's over. I'm not working today. I've already mentally decided.
Right. I'm already mentally out.
Yeah.
I beat myself up.
Yeah.
Missed the mark.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll go golf.
Yeah. Right.
You know, not to be like, I didn't not do your tattoo because I wanted to golf. I'm golfing now because I'm not tattooed.
Right. And, I mean, I'm sulking a little bit out here on the. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring my confidence back.
That's right.
I mean, golf course isn't really the place to do that. A little sunshine and some wind can help.
There you go. Yeah, being outdoors. All right.
It's a very common thing I keep hearing just from people, and the more people like we have come into the podcast and just people I meet, it's over and over and over. Take care of tattooing, and tattooing will take care of you. And I mean, that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. This is cool for you. I mean, you learn tons. And get to hear so many cool stories and like just advice, and that's pretty awesome that you're doing this. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel super lucky, like for one, just like be here, be like in the tattooing world, but yeah, just like being able to spend time with like you and all these people, where it's like it's hard to just like, hey, can I come and just like while you're tattooing and just like watch or ask you some questions? Like probably not gonna work. And I get to have these chunks of time with people, just like talk. It's super cool.
Yeah, especially when you go to, I feel like when you're younger and you go to conventions, you like think you can just go and meet all these artists and talk to these artists. Well, that's not how it works at all. They're all busy doing their thing, and
they don't.
Any conversation
really
they're having with you isn't like they're not giving you even 10%.
Right.
It's kind of going through the motions.
Yep.
Right.
And so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I feel super lucky.
It is. It's like cool perspective for an apprentice to be like, dang, dude, you're getting access to people that you may not have. But then also is like, well, now that we're so many episodes in, it's like maybe this will be an apprenticeship requirement. It's like go watch all the podcasts first. Yeah, that's step one.
And that aspect of things too, it's pretty cool. Like at some point in time when I'm an old guy and look back and like have all of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
A really cool process to document, right?
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that.
I appreciate you coming all the way out here.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I was a little nervous just because of my first experience with this, but this has been like so relaxing.
Oh, good.
Did we start yet?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, and so let's get started.
Yeah, we'll start shooting.
Okay, now we have
like
some
to
real
start
questions.
at the end.
Yeah.